So now let's move on. You are a father, you have daughters. How is it being a father to young girls? How do you like that? Are you a sensitive dad or are you a
No,
pushover?
no, I'm like in between. I'm a dad that I'm. I don't think I'm rough on my kids, but I think my kids know they can play with me. So I'm a jokester. Like I'm a class clown. I may not look like it on social media because I'm serious about the mission of helping Black women, but outside of social media, class clown. Like if you see my personal Instagram page, which I had to make private because of what I do on picking and choosing now, it's all nothing but me and my kids. You don't see anything else. It's just me, my kids, fun. You may see some scriptures. You used to see me working. It was fitness, my kids, church, um, and just comedy. That's pretty much all it
Wow.
was.
Wow.
That's it. So but I can be a little pushover because my success in my career allows me to afford my kids things that a lot of people might not be able to do for their children. And so me and my girl was actually having a conversation about it because, people think I do too much for my kids. And I say, well, I don't, it's all relative, right? If I make $300,000 a year, I'm probably going to do a little bit more for my kids than a person who makes $30,000 a year. But it's in direct proportion. My kids, it's moderated pretty good. My kids get things in moderation. But they might get nicer things than someone else, but they don't get anything crazy. Like I don't do Christmas anymore. My kids didn't get anything for Christmas, so they might get things.
Because they get it all year round.
Well, not so much. My oldest is 17. She don't get anything from me anymore. I have a 17-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 5.5-month-old. And so my 5.5-month-old hasn't got anything. The focus is like on my 12-year-old, and she hasn't really got anything in the last 7-8 months. So it's it is what it is. I'm a pushover, but not really, because I can be stern and direct. But I think I'm a hybrid. I think I'm a happy medium.
I bet you they don't want for anything though. So it's a difference. And I bet you've shown.
No, they want for a lot. They don't need for anything. They want. I know how to say no. I know how to say no. My kids, they want shoes. My limit for my 17-year-old was $100. My limit for my 12-year-old was $50. I just raised hers to 75. So no, they don't.
Excellent. 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 So now, because you have daughters, do you think that had a little bit to do with what you do now and wanting to help women?
It has everything to do with what I do now. 100% of what I do. I've told people multiple times. People oftentimes ask me, "Why don't you coach men?" I don't have any sons. I need my daughters to see women. I don't want my daughters to rely on their mothers to become great humans. God forbid if something was to happen to my kids' mothers. I would hate for my kids to not have any other examples or look to family and friends, because family and friends are rare influencers in kids' lives these days. The general public is the influence.
Yes.
So I want my impact to be felt by the general public for my children's benefit, not for mine. Like I've been doing this for free for years. I just stopped doing it for free because people don't typically appreciate things that are free. When they pay for something, they take it a little bit more serious. So that's why I don't do it for free anymore. But yeah, I want my children to be able to see young women that they could model after and say, you know what? I wouldn't mind being like her. But right now, that's not the case in our community.
Right. So let's talk about that. So you want to see women win. Your goal is to change the landscape of Black love with one woman at a time. And you have a podcast called Picking and Choosing. How did you come up with that name, Picking and Choosing? And I think I went to visit your podcast. I know it's on Anchor, Spotify, and many places. Congratulations. It's well laid out. Picking and Choosing, everybody. That's how you can follow him. That's how you can go to his podcast. Very interesting conversations taking place on there. How did you come up with the name?
Well, I came up with the name because that's what people do. They pick and they choose.